So I've been watching horror movies ever since I was way too young to watch horror movies. It's always been my favourite genre, and from classics like Romero's Night of the Living Dead to modern interpretations like Train to Busan, zombie flicks have always been especially interesting to me. From mindless popcorn flicks to some of the smartest parodies of society, they've offered a lot of mileage for whatever story you're trying to tell. But among this spectrum of dumb fun and high intellectualism, one thing has always bugged me. Why doesn't nobody ever just call zombies zombies? It's not exactly a small oversight either. I distinctly remember sitting cross-legged in front of the TV, confused why the characters would just dance around the word, calling these brain-munching horrors anything except what they actually were. Walkers, infected, biters, every name imaginable except the obvious one. It was like the horror equivalent of refusing to say Macbeth, or what I thought were swear words as a kid, like bugger and bloody and face. At first, I thought the filmmakers were just being a bit pretentious. Too cool to use a word as obvious as zombie, and to be honest, there might actually be some truth to that. Zombie is a pretty funny word when you think about it, particularly when you say it with a thick accent. Like, I don't think it would sound as threatening if Ozzy Osbourne was like, "Oh no, there's a zombie, Sharon." Oh Jesus, I'm sorry. But this may be the reason why films that do actually mention zombies by name tend to be comedies. It's like one step away from a seriously tense scene of people running away from the boogeyman. One film that brilliantly highlights this oddity is Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead. Shaun literally scolds his mate Ed for using the Z word.
Don't say that.
What?
That.
What?
That. The Z word. Don't say it.
Why not?
Because it's ridiculous.
Alright.
Even when they're clearly surrounded by zombies. You know, it's a moment that felt weirdly cathartic. Finally, someone acknowledged the ridiculousness of the situation. It may also genuinely be the best zombie movie ever made, like, hands down. There's also the historical angle. George Romero, who basically gave us the modern zombie archetype, never explicitly used the term in his original Living Dead series, and it almost seems like an act of respect to continue this trend. When he brought the concept to the mainstream, the word zombie was more closely tied to Caribbean mysticism than anything, and it feels almost reverential to follow Romero's footsteps and leave the word alone, and let audiences fill in the blanks. By the way, sidebar, I fist bumped George Romero once. He's a really cool dude. Rest in peace. And then there's the whole narrative convenience of it all. If characters aren't aware that they're dealing with zombies, it makes their struggles seem more believable. Like, you kind of just have to suspend your disbelief that before everything kicks off and people start getting eaten, the world was a carbon copy of our own, only nobody's ever heard of zombies, zombie movies, or anything like that. While it is a bit of a stretch in logic that you just have to accept, it does prevent things from having to be annoyingly meta. Instead, you get genuinely confused people trying to comprehend an unimaginable horror, which is much more interesting. And this leads on nicely to the psychological horror. The unknown is way scarier than a clearly labeled threat. Just think about it, like if a spider crawls up on your shoulder and surprises you out of the blue, that's way scarier than one just sitting in the corner of the room. I mean, I wouldn't choose either, but, you know your enemy. But calling zombies infected or biters implies something mysterious or uncertain, possibly even reversible. Like whenever I'm watching most zombie material, part of me is desperately hoping that the infected could be cured. Like it's just some sickness or illness that once you get the antidote, all will be well again. But once you label them zombies, all that hope goes away pretty quickly. And once you know things aren't going to get any better, it gets a bit harder to root for the struggle. So, maybe filmmakers avoid the term out of tradition, homage, realism, or just to maintain suspense. Whatever the reason, it's become an unwritten rule of horror cinema. And honestly, as I was researching this video, I grew to appreciate it. There's something oddly charming about characters tiptoeing around the obvious. It's like a Wilhelm scream or the Akira slide. Once you notice it, you kind of appreciate the wink and nod of it all. But it's also pretty funny when a character just comes out and says it too.
You really want to know? I'm thinking zombies.
What?
You know, zombies. Ghouls. The undead.
But what's your favourite zombie movie? Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to read your thoughts. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe for plenty more videos on all things film and TV. Check out our video game channel, UDS Gaming, and you can always visit UpsideDownShark.com to keep up with everything else we've got going on. Until then, my name is Tom, this has been UDS, and we'll see you next time. Bye!